Alright, hello and welcome in. I am Sean, also known as Secretly a Sliver. I was a mentee back in 2022. Um, and now I'm mentor, restreamer, VOD reviewer, basically anything I'm needed for. Or whatever I want to do. Anyway, um, I'm mostly a speedrunner. I play rando every now and then, but it's not what I would say my main thing is. Um, so a lot of my feedback is going to be like room execution stuff. I'll give some opinions on routing, but it's definitely not my strong suit. I see you got a review from Skelly already. Skelly's a wonderful person, so take what he said to heart. He may disagree on a couple of routing things that I do, but I at least have reasons for the dumb things I do in rando. So, get started shortly here. Ooh, a Mog Sprite? Custom Mog Sprite. That's not Krellbells. Why is my bracket? I forgot to turn the speed up. I usually watch these at 2 times speed. Okay. I like the map check there because you definitely want a map check before you commit to doing any dungeons. It needs to be done at some point, so might as well just be the first step that you take outside. The one thing I am going to say, though, is to take the time to mark down your prizes. Yeah, so your prizes are correct, but I would take the time to mark down the prizes while you're in your map. You're not going to lose by taking, say, 10 seconds to just click 3 prizes off. And honestly, you don't even need to track blue crystals. All you really need to do is track pendants and red crystals. Nice. Don't know where you picked that up, but okay. All right, all right, all right. Hold on just a second here, because my speedrunner friends will appreciate this. So you do a left slash into the guard, and then past that room, you have no idea where to go. I don't understand what I'm doing, what I'm seeing right now. All right, whatever. Uh-oh. I don't know why that screen transition took so long. I'm guessing it got paused and resumed. Okay, so the Moogle is your bunny sprite. You actually have some other character. Well, I can definitely tell it's not your first rodeo. Based on the left slash and the general pathing that you're taking. Seems like the overshot on the sneak room was just no warm up fumble, not paying attention, something like that. Yeah, so it's a 5:30 escape, but you paused your game for some amount of that time, so it was definitely a lot better than that. Nice boots. Boots lock boots. Well, this is screaming Aga to me because you have access to Aga Tower before you even have one piece of Dark World access. I wonder if you're looking that way as well. Honestly, I might just take the trip up Death Mountain here, like right after flute activation, because coming back here, you don't like have to retread any ground or anything. The duck's actually gonna put you closer to Chicken Hut. Yeah, you can only do two things, but you open up the old man save and quit. Plus, like those two things could be something required, and you're not really ever gonna want to go there anytime soon. So, quick thing here. Um, Going up and through the bushes will save you from having to jump and taking the slow stairs. So just go like up and around. This is Kaz boots. You'll always have a sword. If you don't have a sword, then jumping down and taking the stairs is faster. But as long as you have boots and a sword, going this way is better. All right, just hitting density. So this is whatever. Like you can, the world is your oyster at this point. You have flute and boots, so that dash to the left isn't worth it. It's actually faster to flute from Mini Moldorm Cave to 8. Don't ask me why, it just is. Is that a hook shot? I wasn't paying attention. Just making sure my Spotify wasn't too loud. Oh, it was a shovel, okay. Unfortunately, that tells you all of nothing, but, like, that's not a reason to not do that check. Oh, there's the hook shot. Oh, and a bow, nice. Yeah, I'm probably just rushing Aga 1 as soon as I get a Moon Pearl. didn't necessarily want to see a bow right now because I don't really want to think about going to Eastern, but it's probably your best bet at this point. Or it's probably better than most things you have after Death Mountain. I meant to say. All right. Faster, just dash through the middle and hook once there. If you're walking, you can do that double hook thing, but it's uh it's a lot faster to just go through the middle there. I might skip Spiral Cave here actually, because like you're locked into coming back at some point. And like Eastern's a pendant. Yeah, it's a good call getting this here. Yeah, I think you know what to do there. You just got off script. Yeah, I'm not bothering with Eastern right now. I'm just going straight to Aga. It's a pendant. I know you can beat it, but I'm like you have to hit on 2 out of 3 items, and I don't think that that's going to be the case. All right, so something for that room. So you're always gonna have a bow at some point in Eastern. So what you want to do? This little diamond tile that I'm standing on here, just go to like the top half of it, and then shoot left, down, and right. And you'll be out of here in like 5 seconds. Versus like this is the second fastest strat. Your sword beam strat is good and all, but like there's a better and faster way. You'll always have a bow here. Yeah, try to hook speed on the top part of that. Okay, so you hit on one item, but like I still think that this burns you more often than it helps you. Because you would have rather found that later as like your mitts or something. All right, looks like you know what you're doing there. The only thing I'm gonna say is like I I see this with a lot of people, so obviously they picked it up from somewhere. For arrow rooms where for arrow rooms like this where you need to face up, you you can just press diagonals. Like you can move side to side while facing up by pressing diagonals. You don't have to hold your sword out. You can also do this by like just doing cardinals. That it's a little slower, but like slashing and holding your sword is going to be a lot slower than that because you're going to get a spin animation afterwards as well. So that's 17 frames to swing your sword and then 31 to spin it. So you're losing almost a second by keeping your sword out. Yeah, I mean, might as well just. At this point, you only have one check left before it's forced aga, so might as well just go get it. Make sure you didn't leave anything behind. That room. You have exactly NMG equipment for this, so just do an NMG strat here. Like that. So just keep your sword out, poke, slash, knock the guy's arrow away with your shield, line up on the wall, P-dash up. Arrows are way faster on those guys, and they're even in the arrow pack. So for this, you kind of just want to chase these guys, 2 arrows apiece. And then for this, you can either tink with the boomerang or your sword. Sword goes like that, and then double spin that guy, and then kill that guy. You're losing a lot of time there. You're losing like, I don't know, 6-7 seconds in those 2 rooms. You can also arrow the second red guards if you want, but setting up that double spin is faster. You can actually get a hook dash in that room and use the stairs to hook speed off of, but it's really hard to hit, and I'm trash at it, so I can't even show it. Yeah, like I said, you don't need to mark all your prizes. You just the relevant ones, because on Muffin's tracker, when you get a dungeon prize, it'll automatically populate it. I don't love going to Catfish here. It's a bit of a divergence, and you already last located Aga 1, so I mean, I guess you're not going to get any further behind if you are indeed behind, but I would say like last locating Aga probably keeps you even. And I would have just hooked across right away. If you had a mirror and you could save and quit back to the pyramid, that would be a better play. But yeah, I think without the mirror, you just need to leave Catfish alone. Oh baby, 6 hearts. Let's go. Use your boomerang. Use your boomerang. No. It seems like you've learned every room in the game except for that one, so let's show you how to do that one. So what you want to do here, walk up, slash, pick up the pot. Like, the mummies aren't really RNG. The only RNGs that the mummy have are their initial walk paths. Otherwise, you can manipulate them with Link's positioning. So you should be able to know what path a mummy is taking as soon as you enter the room. And then the collision between the mummy and the statue is really weird. So if you have to slash that mummy from above the statue, hold your sword out and get like an extended poke on it. So if you have to slash him here, just hold your sword until the game puts it away for you. Alright, and then pull that down. And don't be afraid to use your boomerang, because boomerang stuns these guys, but the hook shot doesn't. Both boomerangs stun them. Hook shot does not. I haven't done extensive testing on it, but I think waiting for the hand is faster than pushing the statue again. Again, I haven't done extensive tests on it. Oh, I guess this is magic retention for Moth, which is fine, but yeah, I don't know. Lamping there is really slow because you have to walk all the way up to the torches. Curious how slow that is. Actually, yeah, because you used ether too. Which kind of mitigates anything that you're doing with, or any like magic retention strats that you're doing by using lamp. So that took 16 seconds. Wow, that is slow as hell. All right, now let's just do it the regular way. Yeah. So ether and lamp is really slow. So try to do fire rod only whenever you can. And this is a pretty easy strat for it. So you just walk through, double fire rod, dash up, kill him, pick up the pot, knock him back. So fire rod, fire rod him, pot, avoid the hands, and get out of there. There's a try hard strat you can do. It can save like half a second, but I would go with the other thing. Alright, that moth fight was fine. You didn't end up using the fire rod a whole heck of a lot, but that's a good thing, I guess. Alright. Oh, yeah, we got both items. Let's go. The correct amount of times to dash in Sea House is 0. Unless you know what you're doing, and then it's 2. But it's really hard to save time even with those 2 dashes, so just walk it out. I promise you're not losing much time. Because by doing those 4 dashes, you're spending 2 seconds just on charging dashes, and you spend like I think 8 seconds total walking in that room. So it's like a pretty front-loaded seed so far, though. That green pendant swamp is making me a little concerned, but might just be a mirrorless seed. Okay. Ain't that always the way? After Aga 1, there's always something in Hype Cave on required Aga 1 seeds every single time. But at least you got a couple crystals out of the way first. Oh, book. That's making me even more concerned about Swamp. Mm, okay, that's fine. I guess you don't really have anywhere else to go except for Pod, but like, if your hammer is in Pod, you get burned pretty bad by this decision. I might even just leave here, honestly, because you've already found one item, and you need to find exactly the hammer for this to be worth it. Otherwise, going to pod was just the objectively correct play. Oh, did we see something on bumper ledge? Is that why we're here? I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, if you I don't remember if we saw anything on bumper ledge. I don't recall anything being there. But even if you had like after you had found one item, you just grab your cape and go get whatever you have on bumper ledge. Like I don't think I'm ever killing Landmo there. There's only one item that would actually help you, and that would make that play worth it over just going to your density and pod. You also could have done Pyramid Fairy if your prizes are marked correct. No, you can't. Never mind. You need at least a mirror because it doesn't save and quit with you. But definitely a thing to keep in mind. Yeah, last locating in pod is not great here, but I still like your decision to go across the river first. And yeah, this is a crystal, so you might as well just. Oh man. Uh, I probably would have death warped there. You do lose the fairy, but I mean you have red mail, so it shouldn't be much of an issue. Plus, like, it seems like you at least have plans for every room. Every room that's not the Skullwoods mummy room, at least. Yeah, it was kind of unlikely that you were going to find anything other than those myths, but fine. I might do Dark Death Mountain before before Meyer here for this reason. I mean, it doesn't burn you all that much because now you just save and quit and you go right back. But doing Dark Death Mountain first might save you a flute trip. I don't know. not necessarily a bad thing, and I don't think you lost much time on it, if any. Just personal preference for me. Yeah, just to expand on that a little bit, like, to get into TR at this point, you would need a hammer and a mirror and the required medallion. Plus, you also don't have an ice rod at this point, so that's kind of why I was thinking do Dark Death Mountain first, because you're still pretty far away from Turtle Rock, and the knowledge is nice, but you were never gonna get in. Whereas, and again, the only real difference here is that, like, you had a 33% chance of having to flute here again. So I don't think going to Meyer first was bad play. It's just not my preference. So you have a fairy and you have those two potions. That room is pretty easy to do with just iframes. I think, yeah. So all you really have to do here is just walk on the spikes and just don't be slow. You should only lose like 3 health. Plus, I think you have powder, yeah, so you can even powder stuff if you want. So I think using the cape there is just gonna waste your magic, and it might cause you to drink one of those potions later on. And it's probably actually gonna force you to use lamp in the next room, which is not good if you want to do spooky. There's still a way to do it, but oh, okay, we're just putting off that whole thing. Okay. Okay, and then we get bailed out by half magic. That's cool. Still think it's worth it to learn how to do the spike room with just iframes. Because you're not always going to get half magic there. Like, that super bailed you out. If you're gonna do that slash strat, just get all the way up in there and get some slashes on the big eye. Save yourself some time in phase 2. All right, how long can we put off Ice Palace? Oh, we're not putting off Ice Palace. Very good. So, two things here. We're gonna start with this one. Yeah, we're gonna start with this one. So normally you're coming from the top here, and you're entering the room like this. All you have to do is charge a spin and spin these guys. Even if you don't have tempered sword, they'll get knocked back such that you can just like continue on. And the other thing I'm going to mention here is that you're still looking for an ice rod, which presumably, and I mean, you kind of want a mirror, but you're not exactly looking for it per se. So I would say instead of going back to hit the switch like you are, you're looking to full clear this dungeon anyway, at least in my opinion. So it doesn't hurt you that much to kind of hedge against something being an iced tea because you're looking for the ice rod anyway, so you're gonna go basically to every chest. Yeah, and the pen gator room wasn't an item, so your chances of iced tea just went up to like 80, 75, 80%. And yeah, you just found another compass, so yeah, you're now it didn't matter because you did end up finding a small key, but you won't always find a small key. And then that makes iced tea a really slow check. Basically, if I'm looking for something, then I don't hit the switch. I just clear till the big key. And then if I am looking for something, or sorry, if I'm in go mode, I do hit the switch to not have to find the big key. Basically, hitting the switch is just a trade off for finding the big key. Like if you're looking for stuff anyway, it's not super bad of a problem. Oh boy. Yeah, throw that at the top. Throw that at the top of your practice list. Make a new practice list to put above that current practice list, and put this at the top of it. That was rough. Which is probably some of the reason you went and got 2 potions. So, good job realizing that. Honestly, I just go mountain here because you have 3 checks between the book check, which didn't pay out for you before. So you have the book, you have the tablet check, you have 2 things in Hera that you have to do anyway, and then you can get into Turtle Rock, which is at least 4 checks. And yeah, I would have gotten super burned by that, but like honestly, I don't think Pyramid Fairy is it. I guess you need to go to Helma anyway. Okay. Yeah, I didn't see that you need to go to Helma, so no. Pyramid Fairy was totally the correct play. Alright, so ignore everything I just said in the last, like, 30 seconds. Start menuing like that is pretty slow. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have like 5 swaps till Samaria, and then 5 swaps back. So that's what I would have done. Oh. So, one thing for Helma here. You're holding and charging your sword anyway. So, what you want to do is activate spin speed, and then that'll extend your hammer's hitbox, so that will make him easier to hit. And then especially with Master Sword, you definitely want to go for hammer hits on the middle there, rather than sword slashes. So that'll speed your fight up by about 5-6 seconds. Not sure. Oh, because no mirror. Yeah, okay. Uh, Dropping down to try and spike a sword probably wasn't the worst thing you could have done there, but I mean, you have 2 potions and a fairy, so it's what it is. You have safeties out the ass, so like, I think you can just kind of hope for a sword in GT. Going around the right side is not with that. God, keep forgetting you don't have a mirror. It's just so rare that you don't have a mirror because it blocks you out from a good bit. You should always flip the switch when you go. If you're stealing the key, you should always flip the switch back because you're not going outside, and you want the switch to be. Okay. Are we go moding or are we not go moding? I would say okay, yeah. So, and you're skipping Crystal Roller Room now, so I don't know. Going out to the crystal roller room would have been a lot faster than the big chest. Plus, if the key is on laser bridge, you kind of want to loot laser bridge anyway for the chance to get a sword. All right. We're gonna slow this down to regular speed because this is not the regular way to do the room, and I want to see how. Yeah, so this is the reason that you want to hit the switch on the way out of the Poke 1 room, so that this is the default state when you come in. And you don't have to go down here and hit this switch. So what that will let you do is just kind of attack this guy aggressively and do something like that. So basically you have these squares, draw a line here, these squares, draw a line here, put your Samaria block where they meet. Doesn't have to be exact, as long as the fireballs won't get eaten by anything, it'll hit both switches. And then step on these, make sure you're like fully onto the tile before you explode this, and then you want to stand here to get iframes, because that guy can bounce around a little unpredictably, but as long as you stand where you're going to get iframes, you won't have to worry about him. Yeah, picking up and throwing that block is slow, and it can also get you hit like it did right there. But you have red mail, so you're probably not worried about taking hits too much. Definitely want to use the hammer in this fight. The only reason you ever use the sword is when you're locked out of your menu, when the one hit is exploding. If you use your hammer on that guy, he won't shoot you. There's a faster way to do that room, but what you're doing is fine. Same with those two rooms. There's faster ways, but what you're doing is fine. Okay. So there can't be a small key in rando room. I guess there's no harm in fluffing for a sword, but there can't be a small key here. And you just spent a small key to get here. So I probably just take a dive and climb. Because you're losing a lot of time here now. Because now you have to search everywhere for a small key. So I definitely die in the firebar room. Get out of here. Yeah, you have 14 hearts, so you can afford to take some damage in this room. Shoot this, dash down, take damage. You don't even need to dash if you don't want to. Well, you dash this, but like you can just walk across here, and if you do it correctly, you'll still only take 2 damage. I can't hit it for some reason, but that's because I don't really do it that way all that often. Yeah, look at how much time you're losing there. Just walk across the bottom. Take 3-4 hearts of damage max. You have plenty of health. So I see a lot of people do this, and I know exactly what it is. What they see is they see someone do this strat. And they're like, oh, I'm gonna do that. Oh look, a switch. Let's hit it. This is not very fast. Honestly, running up here and jumping off the ledge isn't really much faster than just walking down the stairs and dashing up this way. And it's not really all that safe either. So, again, 2 things you can do. You can do this. Shoot your arrow down. This takes some getting used to, but it is a fairly quick strat. And then the other thing you can do is equip your hook shot, go to the right, and then dash up there. Hook shot up. Then you should skip them all coming back. This one's a little slower, but it's a lot safer. You see as I'm dashing down here, only one of those spikes even gets close to me. That's what makes that a lot safer. Whereas this one, it's hard for me to switch room strats on a dime like this. Like, see how you kind of have to go between those two, rather than like if you just do the slower strat, the spikes are in a much better position. So Ether takes about 7 seconds every time you cast it. You can save about 2 seconds by just practicing the Stalfos room. Okay, if what you do is consistent, then that's fine. Yeah, and I'll just leave it at that. I won't nitpick anything. Oh. Yeah. Fire Rod's weird. It'll shoot in weird directions sometimes. Okay. Um, so I don't disagree with your overall plan here, but I can't really explain how to do it better without going into way too much depth. So I'll just say good job. So for the Master Sword fight, you want to stay as far to the right of Ganon as possible, because you can actually tink a spin off of his trident and hit him twice. So you want to stay as close to between Ganon and his trident as possible, so you can get those double hits. You can also use Samari blocks to get multiple hits, but I don't really like that strat because on the regular ROM it's really slow, and I don't like doing anything that's a fast ROM only strat. You have the cape equipped, but you're not using it. If you just like activate the cape and grab the wall, you won't lose magic and you'll keep your invincibility. Now that's not viable sometimes. Sometimes you really need to get into position to not lose time. Yeah, so what happens here is you end up he ends up eating your sword, like you end up poking him here, and then you do like the poke the poke spin, kind of like you do in the first room of escape. Uh so whenever you slash your sword, try and make it to either the left or the right, and try not to be pointing your sword toward Ganon. You'll always know if Ganon is going to warp up or down, but you don't know whether he's going to warp left or right. So I would say actually probably swing your sword in the opposite direction of where he's going to warp. Because if he starts down here, you know he's going to warp somewhere up top, and if he starts up here, you know he's going to warp somewhere down here. So just so you don't have your sword facing Ganon, I would face your sword slashes away from where he's going to warp, so that you don't run into problems like that. All right. 131 is a really, really good time for Kaz boots. Plus, they were light world dungeons. You cleared two pendants that weren't strictly speaking necessary, but yeah, the only thing you didn't have to do was swamp. So you cleared a good bit of the map and still got a semi decent time. So I don't really have very many notes on your route. Uh, most of the route corrections that I offered were because I was missing some sort of context, like the pyramid fairy thing. So yeah, just work on some rooms. Definitely work on Cold Stare. Work on Trinex. Um, Hammer Moth. Like really, all I can really offer is like clean up your bosses, and then the GT thing won't happen all that often. Because you're gonna have a hammer like 90%, or you're gonna have a mirror like 90% of the time, and you're just gonna mirror out. So, uh, but it is good to know, like, that the path you took burns a key and doesn't recover a key. All right, that's all I got.